Curtis, CEO of Wealth Legacy Institute, and I am here to talk about all things books. Think about where we are today and what's going on. Reading allows us to expand our brain, ideas, entertainment, escapism, and ultimately growth. So I want to find out what have you been reading? Particularly, like, what's been your favorite for 2021? And how has it helped you? So that's what I want to talk about. And here we go. So when I think of the journey of reading for me, particularly with the pandemic, I actually have gone into different spaces. So people ask me kind of what's my favorite reader, what am I reading, and it really depends on where I'm at or what's been going on in my life around me. Because when I think of my 20s, I read classics. Charles Dickens was a big, I read almost every single one of Charles Dickens' book. So I read David Copperfield, Oliver Twist, Great Expectations. I read Jane Austen, you name it. I even read one summer when I worked at the strawberry stand selling strawberries at my parents' farm. I read War and Peace. That was incredible. It was an incredible book to read, but I suffered through it, especially in the beginning with all of the Russian names. But it was a great, great book by Tolstoy. So that was my 20s. My 30s was all about personal growth and money because it took me a long time to figure out money. And I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And honestly, that book was the start of the changing of my life around money. There was a chapter in there on self discipline. And it was so important for me to recognize that if I couldn't control myself in behavior, then there was no way that I would ever succeed in life. And so I would say that Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is probably one of the most signature books in who I am as a person. And then in the 40s and 50s, I went into biographies, of course, finance, business, money, entrepreneurship, leadership, all of those books. I am game on. So for me, fiction has really not been part of who I am. I would love to be able to relax on a beach and read some great trashy novel. It just has not worked in my world as it relates to my time. So I'm curious to find out how that fits in for you. I mean, when you think about great leaders of the world, top CEOs in industry and finance and others, most of them are ferocious readers. I think of Bill Gates. He reads 50 books a year, and this year, his summer read list, um, it has a theme, and his theme for this year is the complicated relationship between humanity and nature. And one of the books on his list, I think he had 5 books, but one of them was Under the White Sky, The Nature of the Future by Elizabeth Kolbert, which sounds so fantastic and interesting. Um, so that's something to think about. So Bill Gates, he has his list. Everyone has their list. I know Meg and her book club, they go to Reese Witherspoon's um, reesesbookclub.com to kind of get ideas for their books that they read in their book club. And my daughter Arden is this huge reader. She told me the other day that she reads at least 5 books a month, and she varies the genres, 3 to 4, so that she doesn't get bored. That's impressive, extremely impressive when I think of how we show up about reading. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. As a matter of fact, her most recent read that she told me about was called Radar Girls, which was women who helped track radar after Pearl Harbor. So that's, I mean, and then she read this other fiction thing. So she goes like extreme on her choices. So what's on your bookshelf? What are you reading? I'm anxious to hear. Fill me in. Because we need to expand our world. We need to be less judgmental. We need to have more awareness. And the only way to do that is to get beyond our own mind, get beyond what we think we know, allow new thoughts and experiences to come in. And so for this year with the pandemic, I actually went to a new place. and different kinds of reads for last year and this year to help myself grow in faith and spirituality. That's kind of been where I've been lately. I have two books on mine that's currently, and this was, it's weird how it came across my desk. It's called Love Money, Money Loves You. Just came across my desk. And this woman, the author is an Australian woman named Saren McCrum. And apparently her business blew up during the Great Recession, and this uh, question came across her desk, and the question was, "What does money want to say to you?" And that just this weird question, and so it caught her off guard, and so she started to write. And as she wrote, the first thing she wrote is, "I want you to love me." So, what does money want to say to you? Money said to her, "I want you to love me." And she was so intrigued by that answer. So am I. I'm intrigued by that answer that she spent the next 3 months free writing all these different things. And that is what created this book. I haven't read it yet. It's on my desk, but I understand it's supposed to be surprising, funny, and incredibly inspiring advice around money. So that's a book on my to read list, and I'm very curious about it. And then the second one, and this book I have read, and I have to say that this book also changed my life in 2020. It's called Hiring the Heavens. And it's a practical guide to developing working relationships with spirits of creation. And wow, it's this tiny little read, as you can see. And it changed my life because it made me realize, and I'll never forget this quote by, oh, oh I'm going blank right now. But the quote was that we are not human beings doing spiritual things, we're spiritual beings in human bodies. And that was like, whoosh. Of course, we intellectually get it, but sometimes we forget. And with that, and then reading this book in terms of that, we have the power to really direct and have spiritual guides be in our favor. And so, how can, for anything, spiritual guides on, for instance, helping my sister and I find support for my mom, who needs extra help in the house. Spiritual guides for, I had this check that was given to me and I misplaced it and I couldn't remember where I put it. And I asked my guides to help me, and within 24 hours, I found that check. So I see that a lot of people of Bob Fulton, an old friend to the Bible, shalom. Nice. Shar, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well with your mom too. So those are my two books. That Hiring the Heavens was my game changer, and Love, Money, Money Loves You is my on my book stand. So when I think about successes as some of the small efforts repeated daily, whether we physically hold a book like I do, I still love to do that, or we have it on a Kindle, or we listen to podcasts while we drive, I think it's really important to every day do something that allows us to grow. And so, have you ever thought about doing the 5 hour rule? I know. The 5 hour rule is that we spend an hour a day, if you want to do it that way, for yourself, completely in learning and growing and developing. So think about that. I put that out there as something to think about and allow, because we don't want the lack of awareness to keep us from excelling in life. And as I said, top CEOs and people that do really, really well read, grow, listen to podcasts. They are continual learners. Let's grow together. It's been a hard year and a half, almost 2 years as we've been in this pandemic. Focus on yourself and really explore what it is that you need. Is it business development, career development? Is it inner peace? Um, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that you give me insight as it relates to what is on your nightstand and what are you reading is my question that I pose for you. And how has it changed? What have you learned from it? How has it helped you? And with that, I thank you for your time. I thank you so much. And remember, invest in life well. Have a super, super day. Thank you.